Hello everybody, welcome to part 10. Part 10, can you believe it? Part 10, it's crazy. I hope you're all ready for part 10 or day 10. I might start calling it day 10 rather than part 10. I wonder if Gemma's going to be first tonight. It's like a bit of a challenge, isn't it? Let's see if her name pops up first. I'll have a little look. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good Thursday. Yes, Gemma joins fast. I know what she does now. I know what she does. She sits on the page. Oh, thank you, Sue. Sue sent me 100 stars. You see, that'll all help the coffee pot. So I'm in need of a coffee. I'm going to put that down now. I've just come from my members group where we've had a lovely hour. And I bet anything you like, most of the members have hopped over, which is lovely. They're all good company. I got to read their stories because I asked them what they got, what they Dawn, you are funny. What they had for Christmas, where did they go, who did they have dinner with, what did they do for New Year, what was their best present, what was their worst present, because I'm nosy. Okay, it's nothing to do with being polite or interested. I'm just nosy and I want to know what I missed out on. So I should go back later over the last live in the members group and see what they said. So tonight we're on part 10. As usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll be watching this again an hour later than this. Is 8 o'clock in the evening on the 4th of January. So it's going to be 9 o'clock. Thereabouts, 9:15 when it goes live onto YouTube. I wish I could go live on YouTube straight away, but I can't, and I need to sort that out over the next few weeks because I know I can do it, so just need to sort it out really. Yes, hello for the second time, Shirley. Welcome. It's lovely to have your company. Hopefully you've managed to get a cup of tea quick and come and join me. So we've got lots of lovely people watching already. So thank you very much for waiting until 8 o'clock for part 10 of the 12 days of Christmas. How quick has that gone by? Honestly, how quick? Because we started this Boxing Day, which was really Christmassy, wasn't it? We were all still, you know, Christmased out. And we still had the decks up, we were still eating the turkey. And slowly over the last few days, and it's only 10 days that actually hello Trisha, actually we've taken the decks down, we've thrown away the bones of the turkey, and yeah, it's all gone, isn't it, again? But good, because we have 2 or 3 months build up, so yeah, it's quite nice to start again with the more spring feeling, even though it's absolutely chucking it down with rain. It's cold. And worse is to come, because January and February are obviously the worst to come. Karen says she still has her Christmas decorations up. Well, of course you're supposed to, aren't you? That's what the 12 days of Christmas is all about. Because when we finish on Saturday, that should be your last day for keeping the decorations up. That's why we do it. So, Shirley, you are funny. Right, so let's crack on because we've got a little bit to do. I know some of you have jumped ahead already. That's fine. You know, we all go at our different paces. And we have different levels of homework commitment. But we did say the last block is the tall flower block, and I've kept to my schedule, so which is always a good thing, and then everybody knows where we're heading. So obviously these are the blocks that we've been doing. So those were the main 3, and then we had the tall flower, which is that one here. This is what we're doing tonight. And then of course we had the plan. Mine, I've got 2 copies now, one very scribbled, which you've seen 10 times now. This one, which is newer. It was only new last night, and I've broke it down a little bit more clearly. So that's part 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, which we finished last night, and now we're on tall flower, which is number 10, and it's the last one. And there's only tonight there's only so much I'm going to do of this, because I really still need to talk to you a bit more about the piano border if that's what you want to do. But if you look behind me, and I'll just move for a second and I'll come into the front. I've pinned, you know, the pieces I cut last night. I cut the rest of those strips, and I've got another set of strips to do, and you can see that, you can see how it looks. So I shall cut the rest, I'll stitch the rest, I'll cut the rest, and then we'll see if I've got my numbers right, because as I said to you last night, I kind of whipped it together number wise, and then I thought, is that right? So I need to make sure that I've given you the right quantities of strips and instructions and everything. And sometimes you can only do that when you make it. Sometimes my brain is too full to be able to cooperate with mathematics, really too much. So I will carry on doing the other strips, cut them as I said, give them a good press, and then we'll fit them to what we've created. And I've got a funny feeling I'll need some more, but we'll see as we go along. So on the actual pattern itself then, when we look at this, what I've created there are piano strips, piano keys of 4.5 inches in width. So from the edge of your quilt top to the outside, you would need a 4.5 inch strip. Once it's stitched on, it's down to 4.25, and once the binding's on, it's down to 4 inches. Okay. Oh, hi Alison. Oh, excuse me, for you, have you done any more to your 12 Days of Christmas? Because that looked amazing. And if anybody's interested, you should be, go to the Facebook group, or sorry, the Facebook page of, oh, for goodness sake, who do I use for quilting? Daisy May. Go to the Facebook page of Daisy May and you will see 2 beautiful quilts made by Alison. They are incredible, and Val has quilted them for her and they look stunning, and I saw pictures of them before Christmas. She had Alison had them laid out on the desk at the Cozy Cab, and truly they are worth a look. Alison, beautiful, that's all I can say. So going back to this then, the piano keyboard is going to be 4.5 inches wide, and then what I've been doing is, I don't have any scraps. I've used 5 colours, I'll just get this out of my bin, 5 colours, which are the 5 colours of the flowers and the stem. And I have cut selvage to selvage, you can see that. I've cut selvage to selvage, and I've cut 2 of every colour. Now I'm not sure at this stage if that's enough. I'm sorry, but my brain can't cope. Somebody somewhere perhaps could tell me, but I can't work it out. I'm going to have to stitch the last strips together and see if I'm missing any, and then I can give you, normally I can sit at a computer and work it out, but I've been incredibly busy, and it's just finding that 5 minutes to have a quiet moment in my head to be able to work it out. Oh, thank you, Alison. Can you pop them into the group and then I can share them out to my page? That would be super. Or into the Making It Special group is as good as. Either or both. I don't mind. Honestly, they're beautiful. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to stitch the rest of those piano keys together and work out the actual measurements, and then you'll know. But again, you might not want to do that. So the borders for this is 1 inch here, so that would be a 1.5, and I have written it down. So this little one here, are 1.5 inch strips, and this one here is 2.5 inch strips. Okay, let's not confuse the matter, and we'll put those like that. Okay, so that's as simple as we can get, and you can go across the top if you want. This is all dependent on your width of fabric. Okay, I would be inclined to do the top one, which is narrower, this way first, and then put your sides on. No, wrong, other way around. Put the sides on first and then put the tops on. So sides first and then tops, top and bottom. Yeah, you get that? So your sides go on first because it's the shorter distance from there to there than if you went from there to there. Yeah, do you get it? That's an extra 2-3 inches and plus some. So it could be that your width of fabric won't be able to, you'd have to piece it, and that wouldn't be so nice. So I would do from here to here and then put the tops on, and your width of fabric should then be okay. Oh, Judy says she just had a quick look at Daisy May. Alison's quilts are amazing. Oh, they absolutely are. Shirley says the same. They are beautiful. And they'll fit my, and thank you, yes, Alison, I meant to say thank you very much. They will fit the bed beautifully. Super, thank you very much. I'll pick them up tomorrow. Yeah, so this is, so we're going to do this. I'm going to put it onto the fabric. I'm not going to stitch it, but I'm going to add it to my other piece, and then I'm going to add it to this piece, so we've got a full quilt top, and then we can look at piano keys and see how they fit in. So I've talked 15 minutes. I really need to do something. So let's move this to one side and bring in what I've done so far. Because we have put the pen on all the others, I've had to put the pen on these as well. I need to stitch this flower, but time is of the essence now that we get as much of the main thing done as possible, which is the border, the quilting, the binding, and we've only got 2 nights to do that. I don't know how we're going to get on, but we'll see how we get on. So oops, nearly ruined that. So we've got the large rectangle, so let me put it on the side, then we'll get it all in, and it's 20 and a half by 10 and a half. Okay, that's your measurements for that. And we need to make sure that our flower and what have you goes into the center, and we talked about this the very first time that we put this together, of how you can do that. So let's put my mat underneath ready. Let's get the leaves out of the way. Now the leaves can go underneath, but what we really need to do first of all is to find the centre. By finding the centre is the easiest way, is just to fold this in half lengthwise. Make sure your edges are touching. Give it a lovely finger press. And there you've got the centre. Just making sure I've got the right side facing me, which I have. And then yeah, I'll turn that down a bit. So then I'm going to put the the stem on. So let's just assume it's going to go there. I could look at the other one, but there's no reason why we can't do this slightly differently if we wanted to. So I've put my stem on. I could do with another ironing mat, but never mind. And we'll just get the big flower, and if we lay that big flower over the top, let's move it like that. You just need to cover the top of the stem, like so. We want to make sure that top and bottom is the same. Well, if I move that in, it's not. So we need to shovey it along a little bit. So, not much. You'd be surprised. You don't need to move this very much. And you could just do it by eye. I think that's good now, don't you? So let's just shift that along a little bit. Just move that like that, shift that along. I think I'm okay with that. The main thing is that it's in the centre. So I'm just going to touch that for a moment, and I'll touch that for a moment. Oh, there, look, I did exactly the same as what I did earlier this week. That moved. Don't forget, with heat and bond you can lift it as long as you're quick, as long as it's still hot. Let's do that again. Right, I just want to attach it very quickly because we've got the 4 leaves. So let's have a quick look at our design. Where is it? Over here. Is it in this one? No, of course it's not. I like to see the actual picture. So let's go to the line drawing. There we go. I'd much rather see this. So let's move that along, put that there. and then we can get an idea of where those leaves have got to go. So I've stuck here and here, so I've got all this section here that's loose. So I can now, if I pop the if I pop the leaves down, then I can see if it matches the drawing. Okay, and they're just sort of tilted up a bit, so they're not straight out, although this is straight, so they're sort of titled up a little bit. So I'll have a look on the overhead. Oh, not bad actually. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that really. So the bottom of the leaf is, can you see it's straight? Let's see if I've got that. Yeah, that's better. And just make sure it's straight there. See, you've got to get it right, because you're going to be looking at this on your hall wall or your downstairs loo, and you'll think, why on earth didn't I check that? So before we do anything else, let's put the iron on it and get those bonded down. Make sure that glue is lovely and hot. Super. Very happy with that. It's no good looking at it now, Lizzie, you've done it. And then we'll put the flower down. So however that looks, that's fine. We'll just go with it. And then we can build up our layers. Now I haven't looked at the other tall flower, so I don't know if this is the same or different. It doesn't matter. So I'll pop that one down. Pop that one down. There we go. Pop that one in the middle. So that centre jumps outwards. I don't think it jumped out on the other one. So there we are. Make sure the heat of that iron goes through all of the layers. And now you can spend a happy hour stitching that around. And if we have a look at the front, so let's just have a quick peek at the front. You can see what that looks like. It's probably, the flower I think is probably over to this side a bit more than it should be, but by the time we've quilted it, I think I'll live with it. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, if I turn it to the side like that, you wouldn't know. There, looks perfect now. So that's our tall flower. So what I'm going to concentrate on, as I said, is to now attach that to the other piece, which will give us our final, it's a third actually, isn't it? So I'm going to stitch my tall flower to that one there. Okay, so we'll do that now. Let's get the machine in, so bear with while I move bits and pieces on my desk. I do apologise. Bring the lovely machine in. I'll have to remember to put some oil in it tomorrow. Make sure that you've got your edges, so just keep an eye on things so you haven't got your flower upside down or anything. So there we go, I'm happy with that. I know you can't see it, but I'm lining it all up. And then of course you can pin your layers together. You don't have to do what I'm doing and just going for it. You can pin it or use your clips if you want to use your clips. Stitch length 2.5, go smaller if you want. And get them all lined up beautifully, and off we go. So with this section, I shall have to take my other piece down off the wall now. You've got a seam that I can't remember which seam it is. Let me have a look at my guide. Yeah, it's this one here. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Just hold on. It's this seam here that matches. You've got a nesting going on here, so we'll deal with that in a sec. I'm still going to open my seam up, so it's not really a nesting quilt seam, but you still treat it the same. And you can put a pin either side if you wanted to hold them in place. And I suggest that you make sure that is perfect rather than just gung-ho stitching. I would make sure that was perfect. Okay, so I'll just leave that there for a moment for you to have a look at, and I'll get my quilt down, which will leave me with a great big gap now on my back wall here. Okay. Now the only trouble with this moment in time is that I can't show it to you all unless we're on the front view, so I'll do the best I can. I'm just unpinning my piano keys. So, hold on, there's lots of pins going on here, guys. Okay, that's it. So I'll just fold those up nicely. Okay, any more? Any more? Yes, there was another one. There we go. Right, so now we've got our two sections. Hold on. There's a lot going on my desk. Just bear with a second. So we've got our first section here, and I must move. Oh, there's another piano key I'm stood on. Oh dear. There we go. I must do some more gold work on the other half. So don't forget that this one here is your outer corner, and this tall flower goes in like the centre. Yeah, so we need to make sure that we attach our piece in the right place, so it sits like that. Okay, so all I'm going to do is bring these right sides together. I'll pin the top. I'll pin this top section here, but the main thing is getting the seam that should meet, that it meets. That's the bit that's going to annoy you if you know, when you look at it, it's like, you know, the flower was a little bit off. Well, yeah, I might have to take that off, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, if that centre seam doesn't meet properly, it'll be annoying for you. So find where that is, which is just here, and make sure those two edges here and here are sitting directly on top of each other. And you might want to, as I said, you might want to put a pin either side of the seam if you've opened up your seam. Okay, which I will do. And then whatever happens either side, ease it in. Unless you're very out, in which case you're going to have to trim. But I suggest you ease it. So that's not stretching or pulling. There we are, look, I mean, that's perfect. But it might be that you're 1/8 of an inch out or something. But please, please, pin. Maybe use your quilter's clips. They are a little bit heavy, I think, sometimes for just 2 layers of fabric. But when you pull them together, you know, just, this is the bottom, that's the seam. Just give it a little chance to sit together nicely and pin it at appropriate places, maybe every 4 inches, 5 inches, something like that. And like I say, you really want them to match. It's only our seam allowances might be a little bit out, or our cutting might be a little bit out. And again, all you're doing, and if I turn this around, it may be easier to see. You've got all of those seams going on there. You've got a top here, you've got that seam again here. So just give it a little, not a tug, but just flatten it by pulling it, and then just make sure that they stay sitting together by putting a pin in. And if it's a slightly smidge out, that can be eased in. But it can only be eased in if you know about it, and you could use your walking foot, because that's brilliant for this sort of thing. But as you're stitching, don't allow your fabric to move. So the top layer undoubtedly will want to be, will end up perhaps a little bit longer than the top. No, the top longer than the bottom. Is that right? Yeah. One or the other. But your walking foot will really help. But I'm not going to put that on tonight. So we're going to start from the top. And I'm going to do a back stitch because there's going to be a lot of tension going on there now. So let me put you on the side camera. Now we've got away. I can take my tester fabric out the way now because we've done all the testing. My goodness me, how many things have we learned to do these last 10 days? So many things. It's been amazing. Like I say, I'm going to do a list. I'm going to try and get all the different things on the titles of each live. And then you'll be able to find them easily. So just make sure your raw edges are sitting together. So have you enjoyed the last 10 days? Are you pleased you took part? Did it get you over that funny period between Christmas and New Year? And then now you're starting to feel a little bit more, you know, normal with the spring around the corner. You've got to keep thinking positive, guys. Oh, I remembered I went to Sainsbury's today. Had to do a flying visit because we'd run out of milk and fruit for breakfast. And I meant to pick up some daffodils and I forgot. And that's not like me at all, because if anything I'd go to Sainsbury's for just for the daffodils. Perhaps William and I can go tomorrow because I absolutely need them. So a little back stitch again because we're putting a little bit of pressure now on our seams because of the weight of the fabric. And if we come now to the front, let's hold it up. Needs a really good press. So there we are. So we need to press that seam open now, which I won't do now. I'll do tomorrow with my big iron, because like anything, it always needs a really, really good press. Daffodils, yes, Helena, they're in bud. They have them. May do them especially, so they're early flowering. Yes, they're out in the shops anyway. Yep. So now let's concentrate on the piano keys. What time have we got? Oh, got bags of time. So that's tomorrow's project for pressing. But we'll have a look at these piano keys. I shall still have to have this out just for a moment to measure all my bits. Like I say, I don't know if I've calculated it right at all. So let's have a think. I've got 5 colours, and I've got each of those colours has been cut width of fabric. Okay, so it's a 2.5 inch strip from selvage to selvage, and I've cut 2 of every colour, and I'm stitching the first 5 together, cutting them up, and then I'm now going to put the second group of 5 together, and then I'll cut them up. Okay, and I'm getting strips 4.5 inches wide. I'm assuming this is all of them. I don't think I've got any more sort of tucked away anywhere. So we should, and these, yeah, so these are 4.5 inches wide, and I've got 6. And I had some scrap left over, so I'm not sure if that's enough or not. Like I say, I can't work it out today. But the quilt is 30 by 40, so if anybody's got a mathematical brain, any other time and I'd be fine. I don't know what it is about that one today. Oh, I've got some more here. Hold on, I've got more. 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 sets of piano keys. Anyway, What I need is a Nicola. So whatever colour combo you had, that's what you must do again. So we start off with this one, then we go to the green, this one, this one, this one. Okay, so we must carry on like that. So the first colour I'm going to pick up is this colour here, yeah? And then I'm going to stitch right sides together with the green. And we're stitching all the way down. Let's put right sides together. And we also want to make sure that we stitch them correctly. So that's right. So put them right sides together so it's the whole width of fabric, and then once we've stitched the two strips together and they're 2.5 inches wide, then we start from the bottom and go up. If you keep going to the top and down, you'll end up with bananas. So I'm just checking now that I'm doing this right. Yep. So I'll put you on the side camera, otherwise you'll get funny face, me concentrating on stitching, which is not attractive at all. You'd get 9 from one width of fabric. That's what I've done, Nick. So is 2 logs enough? I can't work it out. I wish I could, but it's I'm a bit number blind anyway, but I'm so tired I can't think straight. Talking of which, I'd like to thank every single one of you that has sent me a coffee to keep me awake through this long arduous 10 days. Thank you very much indeed. And I will get round to thanking the last few. And thank you to Shirley for my banoffee pie from yesterday. It was delicious. Theoretically. and for all the stars that I've been sent. I think that's the sort of the first time that I've really had stars. So I think maybe 14 to do the sides. I think you'd need 10-inch finish, so I think maybe 14 to do the sides. So have I got enough, basically? Right, so we've got our colour combos, right? So we've got the yellow, then I've got the green. This is my one of the pieces I've cut. So I now need to stitch the this one. Let me get it up for you. Let me hold it up. Let me do it that way because that's correct from what I'm looking. Sorry, I'm just faffing here trying to get the fabric in my hands. So now I'm going to stitch that one on. So it's right sides together, but I'm going to stitch from the bottom up. So I'm getting all of this that I've just done. And so now you've got it so what you've just stitched is facing right sides up to you. And ideally, ladies, and possibly gents if there's any watching, you are going to press every single seam that you do. Every single seam. So you won't do this I'm doing. You'll have pressed this seam here, the one that we've just done. Yeah. That way it's not such a big task. Yes, enough. Phew, verified by Kath. Thanks. Yay. I thought it was. Otherwise I'd have cut another set of strips. So it's 5 colours, 2 widths of fabric at 2.5 inches wide. And that's enough. But I mean, not all of you will want to do this. So somebody suggested it, I can't remember who now, but somebody suggested it. And I thought, you know what? That will really lift it. It gives you a lovely big border of 4 inches, which makes your quilt bigger. You may or may not have enough spare fabric, but it's only two widths of each colour. So that's not too bad, 5 inches. It's not too bad, is it? Yeah. Okay, so now we need the third colour rather, and what you'd be tempted to do would be to open this up and flip it over and start from there. Go up to the top. I do beg your pardon. Go up to the top, and where you got it lovely and neat, and start again. But we're not. We're going to where we stopped. Here is where we start again. So again, you're going to flip it over. You have the wrong side facing you now, and then your new strip goes underneath here, which is the spotty, which is the bumbleberries. And that way you won't get a banana. And it really does help with your cutting as well. So get that first little bit stitched, and then manoeuvre all your fabric, and then you'll be right. It would be easy to keep going back up to the top because all of your selvages would be sitting beautifully. You don't want to spoil that, but you'll always get a bit of waste. So you might as well try this and see if it works for you. You know, if you're making bargello as well, that type of thing, you want to do the same. Even if you do it when you remember, like every other one or something, every third one or whatever. Yeah. So who's watched, and don't tell us the ending because I haven't watched it yet, who's been watching Mr. Bates and the Post Office? You know, Alan Bates. My goodness me. That, I mean, it was shocking anyway. You know, when we found out in real life, it was shocking. And I had no idea that the Post Office, for the last 300 years, have been their own law. So the police don't even figure. I didn't know that. That's quite incredible, isn't it? That they are the law. And if they say you're guilty, you're guilty. And I never knew that. Well, I mean, we've not had any need to know it, I suppose. By golly. Ah, what was that? Oh, you've watched it. Oh, good. Somebody said I'm going to binge watch in one go. Oh, you must, Nicola. It's frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing. And we all know that only so many people have been paid out anyway, so yeah, that's not giving anything away. All right, so there's my bumbleberries on. So we've finished there, so we'll start there. And so we put the last strip on now, which is the gorgeous flowers. I do love this fabric. It's so pretty. So line it up as best you can. I'm just going to stagger that. And then what we'll do is we'll put together the other strips, so we can at least put one side on, because the borders need to go on before we quilt anyway, so it's not really jumping ahead or anything like that. And then I'll cut some of this just to remind you. And like I said last night, if you've got the Creative Grids, I forget what they call it, you know, with the grooves in to cut, yeah, use one of those because it keeps your fabric flat. It's quite good for just that, for holding your fabric. But if you haven't got one, just use your ruler. Toby Jones is a fantastic actor. I've seen him in a few things, and wasn't he in a detective programme? Yeah, he is good. And I've been watching The Tourist as well. That's been good. I did like it when they were in Australia, the last series. But it's a bit dark, isn't it now? Yeah, there's one or two interesting things going on at the moment. But Christmas TV, blimey, it was awful. Good job we're always busy, isn't it? Oh dear. I should have got the ironing out. That's how bored I would have been. Right, so happy with that. Watched it all, very well done. Absolutely, Sue. Wow. What a good representation indeed. So let's press a little part of this, just like we did last night. And then I'll cut again, and that will remind you. So here's my 5 strips. Oop, let's get hold of it. There's my 5 strips. Sorry about the funny face. And then I'm going to press the seams. So let's quickly go on the overhead for that. Not that you don't know how to press a seam, but... And you could look at what you've already done. So that's what I've already done. So I've pressed the seams that way. So we'll keep with that. So keep it nice and flat. And what I do is I get my iron on it for stability, and then I just... This is why ideally you are going to press each seam every time you've stitched it. Your iron is your most important tool in your sewing arsenal. If you were a dressmaker like I used to be, my goodness me, you could not do your job without your iron next to you. And you must always think iron, iron and press. Dry iron at this stage, pressing when we've got it on the quilt. Then you can press. When something is stable, when it's stitched, when it's, you know, in its correct place, then you can press. Okay? But not until then. Dry iron. It's a bit like efficient finger pressing. It just allows us to get those seams over. And of course, don't forget, if you do press, it's very difficult to get those press lines out. You'd have to get your best press out, or you're so flat. So we're on the countdown to La La Land now as well, of course. And at La La Land, we've got Crafty UK coming. We've got Kim Porter and her absolutely gorgeous fabrics. We've also got Ty Veg as well, which is a quilting fabric company. She's a gorgeous young girl, Jess, and she's coming as well. And obviously Abigail, Adrienne, and myself will all have our stands with our things for sale if you're interested. And of course we're going to be stitching all day and having fun with games and bingo and lots of food, and yeah, looking forward to it. So yeah, we're on the countdown now. Got a few other things in between, but right, so we just need to take off our selvages. So ideally you're going to cut this side, so your ruler is on more of the fabric, but I've got a fairly good eye. So I'm just going to take off my selvages, and what you really need to do, and now this ruler is 4.5 inches wide, okay, so I'm lucky, but you need to, yes, so am I, Zoe. So you need to make sure that you only cut 4.5 inches, otherwise you're going to have to cut more strips. So line it all up and just keep your eye on at least one of the lines. And just line it all up. You can make sure that this bottom edge is sitting on a line here, but you might find with your stitching and your ironing you've kind of made you know, you've adjusted things slightly. So there's one. So we'll do a couple. Again, line it all up, get it incredibly accurate here. Look at the bottom, make sure it's lined up, line it up on a seam, and then cut. If you think you're going off at a wonk, straighten it up. You've got a little bit of leeway, so you should be fine. But you absolutely don't want it to go off at a wonky angle, because you'll end up with diamonds or trapeziums, aren't they? So again, just line it up, have a look, see, make sure you're happy before you cut. Because once you cut, you've committed yourself. So there we are. So we've cut 3. The rest I'll do tomorrow. Oh my gosh, I've got William, so we'll see how much I get done tomorrow. And then we need to work out how many we need for one of the borders. So if we've got 5 at 2 inches and we've got 40 inches, and I did write it down on my piece of paper. Let's have a look. We need 4 pieces. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'll pin it and then I'll measure it out, and then we'll. So I'm going to zoom you out a little bit, just so I've got a bit of space and we can see what's going on. What time have we got? We've got 10 minutes. Whoops, sorry. Okay. That's as far as we can go. Right. So we need to find a side. So don't forget, we're doing the sides first. So we're doing the 40-inch side first. So you'll only be able to see so much, guys. So we need a rough estimate of how many we need. So if we start off, oh, you can just about see. Start off here. So we'll just overlap a little bit, because we're going to put these together as a seam. But I just need a rough idea. I'm pretty confident, says she. I said 4, and 4 it is. So if I bring that in, look, once I've done the seams, that should be right. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll stitch those together and then I'll pin it to the edge and we'll see how we get on. I'll just move that to one side. Okay, so apologies for the angle. So as long as you remember now, if you finish with a flower, you're going to start off with the opposite end. So it's the sort of dash stripy business. So let's do that, and that should be the same all the time now. So let's just get those better together. And of course you'll want to press these seams over. Oh, Shirley's going to be driving. How lovely, to Lala. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great day. Oh, I need to do a back stitch with these. Perhaps my stitch length is a bit big. So again, I'm putting my sort of stripey to my flower. Keep an eye on things. I'm going to do a back stitch, guys, just to secure it. Right, so the next one. So stripey to flowers, yeah, just that's your mantra now. Whatever your fabric, even when you're doing the tops and the other side and all of that, it's going to be whatever mantra you come up with. So obviously there's some key points on this that you need to be aware of for when you're putting this border on. Now I haven't ironed it, and I will do, but just for this moment in time, let's put it on our desk again. You can see some of it, which is great. Let's just move that a wee bit more. What was that? Oh, it was me TV remote. Now you might want to trim this up, guys, but that's within my 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm happy with that. But you might want to trim it up. Don't do as I do. What is it? Do as I say. So look, you've got key points here. So that's a key point. So you want to make sure that your seams match up. So this seam here matches that seam there. So that's your key point. So we can put a pin in. And as I say, we need to press that seam open, which we will, and then bring it along up here and match your seam up. I think I'm happy with it slightly over there, so I'm going to shift that along a bit so I can see what my key point is up here. So let me bring that up. So I definitely want it to fit here, so that's a key point. And this is a key point, yeah? and everything else in between can be eased in. Does that make sense to you? Let's make sure my seams are going the right way. Oops, there we go. So if I bring that out, I bring that in. Do you see how you're not stretching it, but you're easing it. Really what you're doing is you're opening the seams up. So you could trim that off if it worries you, if you have something like that. So I'm going to just get my elbow in there, and that's a key seam there because that's in the centre of that block. So if you can remember that, so match up the seams where they need to be matched up. So that's that first 10-inch one, or the bottom one, this second one here at the top, that one should be in the centre of that. You've got those key points lined up, and obviously this top one here, oops, just caught my finger there. So let's just bring that up, and like I say, it can all be eased in. So as long as it's all in the right place, you can obviously pin more, and you can put more clips in, whatever you like. So let's machine that, see what it looks like, and then we're just about done for our part 10, which is further on than we needed to be, but we've still got quite a bit to go in a way. So I haven't done my, oh sorry, yeah, it's not a bad angle to be honest. Shall we keep it at that for a moment? I haven't done cornerstones, and so I could add strips onto this short edge here and not have a cornerstone. So I'm living with it at the moment to see how I feel about it. I think a cornerstone might be a bit too clumpy. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So just make sure that seam is meeting up as best you can. And like I say, do remember to trim if you need to. I mean, the joy of this little quilt top is that we haven't done lots and lots of cutting of pieces like regular patchwork. It's not too bad at all, is it? So you shouldn't really be far out. It's just your seam allowances and your cutting that might put you out a bit. And if you think of all the seams in this piano key, see, like this little bit here is irritating me, but I'm ignoring it. I'm going to follow the line. You can't see it on the overhead, so that's okay. There we go. Dee Dee says she thinks it would be nice to continue the piano keys. I'm kind of veering onto that, Dee Dee. I really am. So this is fitted perfectly. Look, this is the top of my piano keys here, and that's fitted perfectly. But a lot of that is the fact because I've got my tape here, so I've always got my 1/4 inch. And if you remember, I showed you how to measure that from your needle out, regardless of where any measurements are on your machine. You measure from the needle out. So let's have a look. I'll show you on the overhead. How do we feel about that? Let's go to the front and have a look. Hold on. Oh, it's growing, isn't it? So obviously it needs an iron. So don't forget, guys, we don't do anything unless we've seen the iron. I'm loving it, guys. I'm loving it. And that's making quite a decent size. Obviously we need a press. Press, press, press. So you can press this now with steam. Yeah? So that's working really well. See, I didn't know if the green would jump out, but I don't think it does. I think it blends okay. So let me go a bit that way. How about if I do it, hold on, if I do it like that. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah. It's a good job, isn't it? After all that, all those hours, 10 hours, well, more because we had homework. Right, so could you do a cornerstone with a different flower? Of course you could, Jan. 100%. You could take this one, the big one, off the tall flower, yeah? Or you could take the big one off of this. You don't want it to be lost, you don't want it to be too small. So have a look at that and the tall flower. That would look really nice. Yeah, good suggestion. I like that. Yeah, why not? It's yours to do whatever you want. Right, thank you very much for watching. I don't know what my homework will be like tomorrow because I've got William all day. He doesn't go back till tea time. So whatever I do will be a bonus. But we're in it together, aren't we? And life carries on, and my life's just the same as yours. Busy, busy, busy. Grandchildren and all sorts. My sister was on the radio this morning. Oh, I'll tell you. It's all fame and glory in my house. Right, so I'll see what I can get done, but if not, we'll just carry on. We'll do the piano keys, and then obviously I must do homework on Saturday to get the stitching done on the flowers that I haven't stitched yet, but that doesn't take me long. And I'll get some gold thread on there, and then of course we'll look at quilting and binding. Oh, Friday, yeah, so yeah. And if I because I doubt whether I'll be able to do all the quilting because it's Dad's care day, so I'll do what's in my head. I'll give you the thoughts about what I'm going to do. I'll show you binding on a sample, and then obviously over the next couple of days, Sunday, Monday, I'll finish it properly with all the quilting, and then I'll post it on my page and you can have a little look-see. And then obviously, you know, you do yours whatever stage you like. It's not a race. Nobody gets a prize for being first. So do it at your own pace. So good. I will see you all tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And 7 o'clock on Saturday. Have a lovely rest of your evening, what's left of it, and I will see you tomorrow at 7. Bye everybody, bye.